Okay, hello, my name is Victor Rodriguez, and I will be refuting a claim of fact. And basically, the major claim that the advocate stated was that America's economic state has improved within the last 5 years in the two major areas of real estate and employment. First off, she has two secondary claims or supporting claims. The first one is that since the housing bubble collapsed in 2008, real estate has improved. And the second is that the number of people out of work has decreased in the last 5 years. And in response to that, I actually state that the increase of interest rates and house prices does not benefit our economy. And in a source, it actually shows the current mortgage rate, the mortgage interest rate, which for a 30-year fixed is 4.21%, and for a 15-year fixed it's at 3.27%. Whereas for last week it was actually 0.5%. It was actually 0.5% less than what it is now, and it's only continuing to increase. And this actually is relevant because she states that because of the bank bailout in 2008, banks raised their interest rates and prices of houses, which made it harder for people to buy homes. But at least now the real estate system won't collapse. And well, it's obviously like a well-known fact that people don't or wouldn't be interested in buying homes if the mortgage interest rate continues to increase. Therefore, I actually have in an article, it basically states pretty much the same thing, and it says that when interest rates are high, people do not want to take loans out from banks because it's more difficult to pay back the loans, and the number of purchases and cars and homes goes down. With that being said, it's apparent that when the number of purchases of homes and cars go down, then the economy isn't benefited in any manner. So I mean, the secondary claim is good evidence. However, it leads to a misuse of reasoning, because she doesn't illuminate on the fact that the increase of interest rate and house prices harm our economy because of the lack of purchases. So in response to her second supporting claim, I state that within the 5-year span, that people without work have decreased. People out of work has decreased. The number of people out of work has decreased. I say that it actually didn't really increase until 2011. And on a government statistic that she had cited herself, actually shows that unemployment in 2008 was an average of 5.8%, and later skyrocketed to an average of 9.6% in 2010. And she even explains how many people lost their jobs, how on September 2008 that unemployment was at a 6.1%. However, she doesn't really explain how throughout the years, like within the 5-year span that she actually mentioned, that she doesn't go in depth with the years in between, how there was an actual increase of unemployment rate. And while she later just says that she mentioned something about the stock market, how it actually increased the employment rate. However, she doesn't really go into depth with the reason why it actually increased within a 5-year span. And the current rate right now is at a 7.3. So I mean, it's obvious that in a 5-year span, the unemployment rate has an inconsistent cycle rather than a dramatic decrease of unemployment or people without jobs. And well, overall, it hasn't just decreased significantly as much as she expressed it, leading to a misuse of evidence. So in conclusion, I prove to you all that my 2 points of the increase of interest rates and house prices does not benefit our economy, and how within a 5-year span, the actual increased rate of unemployment actually started in 2011. Thank you.
All right, structurally you start off well, identifying the main and secondary claims. Then you identify the secondary claims a second time, so that was a little bit confusing. When you get to the first point, you basically have a counterclaim talking about interest rates going up. So we get some comparison of what the interest rates are and some explanation about how those interest rates are likely to hold back home sales. I can understand that. What I don't see, though, is any number on what the total number of home sales are. If the advocates presented an argument and suggest that home sales are increasing, and you can document that there's a substantial increase in home sales from year to year in the last few years, and you've just got this speculative argument that says, well, if interest rates go up, you're going to sell fewer homes. Well, their evidence is a lot more direct on this point than yours. On the other hand, if the average rate at which homes are being sold tanked out in the last 5 years, and it has gone up, maybe it's increased by 50%, but 50% higher than the bottom of the barrel, that doesn't necessarily show a healthy economy, and that might be a way to make the argument that you're making be a little bit clearer. But we don't get any numbers about home sales just on the statistics on interest rates, and the strength with which the change in the interest rates, that 0.5% that you talked about, how big an impact that has on home sales, I don't know. And again, there's no contrast to what the advocate's evidence was on this point, so it's a little bit hard for us to reach the conclusion that you're reaching. On the second point, on unemployment, it got a little bit confusing because you make a reference to 2011. I still don't know what that reference to 2011 is. I guess that the argument is that the unemployment rate went up in 2008 and it stayed climbing, or it reached its peak in 2011, and it wasn't until 2011 that it started to go down. So it's really only been 2 years that the unemployment rate has been going down, not 5 years. I guess that's the argument that you're making, but that needs to be a lot clearer. I think I just said it a lot clearer than you did. As a matter of fact, you know that the decrease in unemployment only started 2 years ago, not 5 years ago. That's what your argument is. All right, and then that there's a variation there that the change has been relatively small. The high point is 9.6%. Currently, it's at 7.3%. I think that's a reasonable point. But there are also some other information about how many people are still in the marketplace for jobs, what the job market is like, that people are underemployed. I think that you're missing an opportunity to make stronger arguments on this point. It sounds like you're just quibbling over some numbers here instead of building an argument and a strong inference here. It's like I'm just going to pick at your argument, pick, at some of the statistics instead of making a more dramatic contrast between the position that you've taken and the one the advocate's taken. I think you can be a little bit more aggressive on this one.